Okay, hi everyone, thanks so much for coming through to this video. We are going to paint this lovely bright owl, which I created through using prompts on AI, just to give us a reference image to get painting from. Please know that that image created in Adobe is not for commercial use. I'm just using it as a reference image to create a lovely painting of my own from, and you can do the same. So I am going to you can get these in kits. I must say that first. Over on my website you can get painting kits, so if you want to stop me now, order the painting kit if you're in the UK, and then follow along once you have ordered the kit. That's great. I will recommend though actually watching the whole video through, so you get an idea of what's happening before you order the kit. There's lots of other videos with kits available, so check on the website first which ones are there. There might be another one you prefer. In the kit you'll get the canvas. I will already have drawn a basic outline for you. It will be this basic because it's all you're going to need. You'll have a paper plate palette. You'll have two palettes. I've got a sort of DIY stay dry palette. So basically it's a dishwasher cloth underneath. Wet it up, wet the sponge up and put some baking paper over the top, and that will be perfect and stay lovely and dry throughout your it's lovely and wet throughout your painting. It's a stay wet palette, not a stay dry. Is that what I said? Oh dear. You'll also get a pack of 6 brushes. You may or may not need to use them all, but they come in 6 anyway. You'll get an instruction sheet. There'll be a little QR code that sends you back to this video, so don't worry if you think, oh, I don't know where the video is. When you get the pack there'll be a link there. Yep, there's all sorts of links below as well. Please do check out, there's some freebies on the website too, and more than anything please do subscribe to my newsletter on the website, because that will update you on new kits, new videos and anything else I've got going on, because I'm always trying new things out, so I can't stop. I just love it. Now for this one we're going to need lots of bright colours, so you'll probably definitely use both of your palettes up. We're going to start with the middle and work our way out, I think, because that's kind of giving us a bit of a focal point. We're going to start with, I like to use an angle brush when I'm doing anything that's circular, because we can use the edge and guide it round so that we get the nice circular image. Is the screen flickering a bit? It is, isn't it? If it keeps doing that, I shall stop. Okay, so we're going to go in for the black first because it is in the centre. There isn't too much black there, so I'm just going to put a little bit down there for you. And if we need more, we can add more. Now make sure you get your brush nice and wet. Have a spare rag next to you if you've got anything that you can use, an old tea towel or something. I often use that just to dry it off if there's a bit too much water on. And we're just going to pull a little bit of the black out onto our brush. Make sure our brush is nicely loaded, not too much onto the metal, just on the brush. And then we're going to come round. There we are. So already we've kind of got the centre of the eye done there. The next layer is a black blue colour, but actually round the rim is perfectly black, so I'm going to do that first. Now what I would say is just give that a dry. If you can use a hair dryer. I'm going to use a heat tool. If not, you just let it dry a minute, give it a minute to dry. I'm just going to layer down some more of that. You can see that I've just done that roughly because this is a very abstract painting. We are just going to be slapping paints of colour down and having lots of fun, so please don't worry. Okay, that's pretty dry. Now wash out your brush because we don't want the thick black colour on there. Get as much out of it as you can. I just use a piece of Tupperware, like a sandwich box, and fill that with water rather than glass. You could have 2 of them, one to wash the paint off and one to just be a final rinse. We're going to go for, I think, the ultramarine blue, a nice dark blue. Ultramarine, or should we go for the cyan? I think we'll go for the cyan actually. let's go for the cyan. I'm going to do a little squidge next to the black. You'll have a little pot, so it will have the name on it, so it should say cyan blue nice and clearly for you. We just need little bits of paint. Less is more really, because what you want to be doing is layering. You don't want to put too much paint down to start with, because you might just ruin it. You might just put loads down and think, oh. But you can more easily correct if there's less paint down there, if that makes sense at all. And let the black and the blue kind of cross over. That's totally fine, because you'll find that the blue won't show up too much on the black anyway, but you can see where it overlaps, and that is absolutely fine. I'm going to leave the white because it will be easier to put the white down in the end, and we are going to put the white down because it will cover up any pencil that's there. Then we're going to come back in with the black again, and we're just going to make sure that where we've got the black we can't see any of the canvas underneath where we want to keep the black, because we really don't want to be having any of that. Then get the corner of that brush, and we're just going to dab some little bits, scribble them around the edge of the eye, and we're just going to make it a bit more raggedy and not quite so perfect a circle. Okay, that's the middle of the eye done. So the next colours coming out, I think I'm gonna, well, we're not necessarily going to stick to the colours up there, by the way. I'm going to change it to how I want. You could follow it exactly as what you can see on the screen. That's totally fine. Now, as you can see, we've already got a really good looking eye there. We're going to go now for the mid yellow. So you'll have a pot of mid yellow. Below in the description, I will make sure, I haven't been doing it, but I will make sure that if you are doing this with your own resources, oh, I better just dry that. If you're doing it with your own paints at home, you can match up which ones you can match up with mine, okay? Because very often the main brands have completely different names. So I'll put the list below so you'll know what to have. How is everyone? I hope everyone's doing okay. I know there's been a lot of wildfires across the world. America, well, I think it was Hawaii actually, and definitely over in Europe. So always thinking of these people that suffer because of our natural environment and how things are changing in the world. But I hope you're all good if you're not involved in that, what's happening in your world. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to come kind of halfway up with the yellow, and then we'll stop there, because it's going to blend into the next layer, which is blue. And I want to make a bit of an orange, so I'm going to pop down some scarlet red. Again, find the equivalent name in the description below if you are wanting to follow along with your own paint. Sorry, this might make an explosion because I think it's a bit blocked. Oh, that was a very big explosion. Didn't need that much. Right, so we're going to make an orange over here just by mixing some of that yellow and some of that red together. The red is very powerful, so don't use too much. I think I might have just put a little bit too much because there was so much there, wasn't there? That's okay. We've got a bit of an orange there. And I just want to come on and kind of blend some of the orange in there, coming around the eye. I'm going to go all the way around, I think. So what I'm going to do, so that I've got something to blend into with that orange, I'm just going to put that line all the way around, and then it means I can come around with the orange. Now, as you can see on the picture, it's got a bit of purple in, but we can do that at the end. As long as we've got down a layer of colour for so far, That looks good. Happy with that. Okay. And then you could just come down and just put some little bits of that orange, some little stripes in there into the yellow, just to make it, although we're not going for realism at all, owls do not have this colour, just helps to blend it in and makes it look at least a little bit more real. Now I notice over here it's a bit longer, so I'm going to wash my brush and we're just going to come down a bit further on that side. Like I said, it doesn't matter. We're going for very abstract today. We're going to have lots of fun with this one. You don't have to do the colours I've used. You don't have to do the colours that are on the one on top. But follow along for how I do it. But just use your own colours if you want to. There. And just want a little bit of that orange in there. So we've got a slightly darker yellow. Just a slightly darker yellow. However much yellow you add, of course, will change the feel of the yellow, however much red you add. Okay, there we are. So what I'm going to do is come up and do like the reddy purpley colours after we've done the blue. So we do need to dry in between all sections with this, because if we don't, we'll be smudging the colours too much. I'm going to give that a dry. Okay, so now we need to put some light blue down. So we're going to need some white, because we will just mix that into, most of my whites are quite empty actually, so excuse the squeezy noises. There is paint in there. I need to sit down one day and get it all scraped out and put it in a pot so that I can use it. There we go. That one had a bit more in. Okay, so I'm going to take some of the white, just a tiny little bit of the blue, just a little bit, and we'll just start to mix it in until we're happy that it matches kind of that baby blue colour. So it's the cyan blue mixed in with the white. Again, just check the colour below for the paints that you might have. Okay, there's a little bit of yellow on my brush tool, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to come right out this way. We're not going to worry about the fact that there's also yellow and white and other things mixed in. We're just doing our first layer and we're going to do many more. So we're going to come in here. We want to make sure we're kind of going over the pencil line. We want to get rid of that pencil line that's there. And we want to try and come out to this pencil line that's here. Again, there's like a darker colour there anyway. So we're going to be coming back into it lots of times with the colours we've made, which is why I like to have this Stay Wet palette. You can buy them ready-made if you just search for Stay Wet palette. I have one, but it's so big. I just use it for my own paintings, not for tutorials, because I can't get it on the screen. It's just ridiculously big, but hey ho. So I always make these little ones up for tutorials, because I just think, especially if you're a beginner and starting out, you don't even know if you're going to enjoy acrylic painting, then you can just do this makeshift one at home. I think the tray was a couple of pounds, so a few dollars, and the sponge obviously pennies, and the baking paper pennies. So yeah, so I've gone all the way around there, and I shouldn't have done that because I was so busy talking, but it doesn't really matter. So up here now we're going to start creating a direction that's leading this way round. Now we need to make a little bit of purple, so we're going to mix the red. Oh no, that's not the right colours to make purple. If you can see, it's making well, actually that's quite a nice colour. We could use that. Yeah, that's all right. That's actually all right. Happy enough with that. So use the red and the blue with some white to create the purple that's coming round. So we're kind of dragging it round this way now. I'm going to mark it in with the purple just because it does start to swing that way. And I'm going to come in and mark it with the purple here as we're coming round its nose really loosely. I've got hardly any paint on my brush because I didn't mix much. So that just gives me the idea of where I want to be putting this little bit of purple in. It's actually matched the purple on the screen really well, so that's good. Okay, so we know that's coming around there. There's like a black band in there. That's where the purple is for the shadow. So we'll come back and do that later. Sorry if I'm waffling on. I'm just thinking aloud. Always with my tutorials, I tend to just do it off the cuff for you guys so that you can see how my brain works. So the magenta is going to be really important in this. So it says the magenta red. Ooh. Sorry, I haven't used these in a while and I think they've all got a bit dried up in the lid. It's coming. I might just take the lid off in a minute. Yeah, let's just take the lid off. I should have got it out ready, really. There we go. Okay, so I'll just dry that off with some tissue and a palette knife. Trusty handy palette knife. Always have one on hand for little things like that, little moments like that. Okay, so what shall I do next? We need like a deep blue. So I'm going to use the blue with a bit of black in. Okay, it's like almost like a navy blue. And for that, it's coming round and it's kind of just sweeping round here. Okay, like that, and it's coming to, let's see, that's that bit. So I think we could probably come around here like this with that colour. Okay, so a bit of black, bit of blue. We want like a dark blue. So not completely black, not completely blue. There we go. Got a nice lot of it there now, which is good. So we'll come around here. Just gonna go over what we've got there. It's quite dark compared to everything we've done so far, but don't worry, by the time we've got all the other colours down, if that's what you're thinking, by the time we've got all the other colours down, you won't hardly notice that. So here I'm going to put this colour down as well here, because there's a bit more kind of here involved in this, and it kind of sweeps around a little bit. Okay, and actually as it sweeps round, it comes round here. And that's when we start to introduce the magenta purple that I said we were going to put on at the end. So let's do that. As you can see, so far it's very abstract. We've got the magenta. I'm going to add some blue. And we're going to come up with a really nice magenta-y type purple. Can you see that? Good. I think we need a slightly darker magenta, pink, purple. No, let's go back. More pink. Just keep adding the pink or the blue until you're happy. It's definitely too blue now. I want it much pinker. There we go, it's coming back. It's looking more purple now. I think a little bit more pink. Yeah. Okay, so this colour is going to come round here as though it's like a bit of shadow on the eye here. So as though it's under that blue paint, I think we need it to be a bit thicker so that we can actually see it. And yeah, all under here. It's kind of a pinky purpley shadow. Come up here. I'm actually going to get some more of the actual pink and just put that up there. Really want that to be quite pink. A bit more, add a bit more up there. Great. Okay. I think we need to get some more of that purple and just smudge it up a bit here, because it is quite, actually it's very purple in this area. Oh, a hair there. Be careful of that. I'm always getting hairs in my paintings. I have long blonde hair. Well, blonde, brown, grey. Right, good. So now we have the purple part done for the centre. So remember, we're just putting, this is the first layer still, we're just mapping out where all the different colours are. We're going to go for blue as it is for the next one, and we're just going to come all the way around. So make sure your brush is nicely filled with blue. Doesn't matter if it crosses over into that other blue a bit, it's fine. I put way too much on my brush then. Wasn't focusing what I was doing with the lifting of paint, too busy looking at the screen to see how it was going. Okay, so it comes out quite far there, so I think I might have started it a bit early, a bit too soon in there, but that's fine. So remember, with abstract there really isn't much right or wrong, just do it how you want to do it. Okay, and nothing is like perfectly shaped in this either. If you have a look, it's really not perfectly shaped at all. Yeah, you can see here I haven't left a big enough gap to match what's there, but remember, we're not matching, we're not doing exact, we are just having some fun. So I'm going to come from around here and blend over into that other blue, and you'll see that some of the colours will cross a little bit, and at this point with those two colours that's actually fine. Okay, you can have a little bit of mixing at the edges. Then I'm just going to come all the way up with that colour, and we'll just kind of fill in that space now for the rest of the eye area. How much fun is this? So much fun. Right, now what I'm going to start doing, because I can see up here that some of these colours, they come into the owl's fur sticking out here, yeah? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring some down here. Remember, I'm not looking exactly, I'm just kind of getting a feel for what I can see and then adapting it into what I want to do. I'm going to actually get some of the purple now and start to smudge in some of the shapes down here. Okay, those little V shapes to represent the feathers at the neck, and they're not really overly clear. It's so loose and abstract, this, that you can't go wrong. Just have fun with it, and at the end, if you've got something that looks a bit like an owl, then you've done well, because that's all we want. It's not going to look like a real owl, it's going to be a rainbow owl. Going to have lots of fun with the rainbow owl. There. Okay. So that's there, that's going to be white there, but there's a bit coming down here still. I'm just going to make that wiggly line there to show that's going to be kind of the end, and then we've got some more here which we can start to fill in. These bigger ones here, they're definitely dark around the edges there, aren't they? So let's do that. We don't really need to fill the middle too much because there are going to be lots of other colours, but if you want to, you can. Just trying to keep them a bit separate from the top ones because we don't want them to be blocked out. I'm just kind of jumping around to the bits that I feel I want to go to next, or it might be dependent on what colour I'm using, and that is literally all of my decision making comes from just how I'm feeling in paintings like this, because that's all it should be. Right, so if you run out, just mix some more up, and you can see from what was there before if you've got the right shade or not. Just keep going. And a little bit more pink. Just keep adding the blue and the pink until you've got it where you want it. Okay, there's going to be blue and red and yellow and all sorts mixed into this, but whilst we're using this purple, we can come in and start putting those colours in. Make sure you've got enough on your brush, because we don't really want to have too many spaces on our hopefully friendly owl. I'm just going to come in here and I'm just putting some spiky bits in here, which was just showing where the beginning of that front bit will kind of come up and around. Okay, it is a bit of a jumpy round picture. I'm jumping around, it's fine, so you don't have to follow along completely, or just pause me if you're getting a little bit lost. It will make sense as it comes together. Right, so now I want to make a slightly lighter version of this purple, because to differentiate the top ones from the bottom ones, there's a slightly different, slightly lighter purple. Squeezing it all out with my brush, get it all off, and make sure it's mixed nicely. So there we go. So we can have that nice lighter coloured purple underneath. Bring that down into the other V's that we've got down there. I'm saying they're V's, I just think they look like V's, but they're feathers, aren't they? Okay. And that helps to just define the difference between the top ones and the bottom ones. Now, I don't gesso these boards. If you're completely new, then you might want to think about gessoing. So it's G-E-S-S-O, and it's a white substance that you put on your canvas that kind of fills the tooth of the canvas a little bit, and will help to, because you can hear when as I'm painting, like the paint kind of sticks a little bit on the tooth of the canvas. Right, I'm just coming straight into the pink here whilst I've got wet paint and paint on my brush, because this is the bit where we can start to just blend those colours into each other a little bit more. I'm not going to do the yellows and reds on top until I have at least kind of dotted around some of the pinks and the purples. That's going to be my first priority. So I'm going to come around here and just mark that one in again. Just going to get some more of the pink. They haven't all got pink on, have they? But I want all pink on mine, so I'm going to do it. This is what we do as artists. We're creating it how we want to create it, and this is just kind of almost a blob in the background. We can't even see it that much, to be honest. So underneath here, I'm going to come straight in with the pink and just paint down and just paint that nice pink kind of shape under that one. I'm going to get some white and I'm just going to come straight in with that white, and we can just leave it like that with the strokes. Maybe not like that, but yeah, but like that. And then we can come down like this. Could mix a really nice, let's get that cyan blue with just a little bit of white, just a little bit, because then it's still like a nice powerful blue, but we just, it's slightly muted, but it's still gorgeous and rich. There we go. So we're just going to come in with a cyan blue with a little bit of white here and start bringing that colour in, because then that creates that different feather down there. And then another one here. So there we go. Remember, this is just the first layer. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't like how it's coming out, don't worry. Honestly, we'll come back to every single section and we'll put right anything you don't like. And more importantly, we'll put more layers on. And that's what will make the difference. But we can't do that with some of it. It's all right if you want to blend in a bit like I'm doing there. But if we want the fresh colour on top, it's got to be dry anyway. So coming in with the blue again with a little bit of white. It's quite bluey down the bottom, bluey here and quite bluey here. So I tend to make less paint than I need. Just don't want to be wasteful, that's all. Because you don't really need a lot on here. Just going to come down with a bit of that. But we will come in with some more lighter on top after. And here we're just kind of just blurring this bit a bit. Okay, it's just kind of disappearing into the background. That's just what we're going to do there. We can come on with the yellows and the oranges in a bit. Let's go to the beak area a minute and start to fill in the front bit, because then we just need to come in and start building up the second layer of colours if we do that. So I'm going to fill the brush up as much as I can without loading it too much. So just have to keep coming in and going over it. It is black on there, but what we're going to do is add some blue and some grey. Hopefully you can start to see something like an owl coming together. After a while it will start to make sense. And then we're going to come in and kind of come in where we've got those strands like that. Use the brush and guide that black brush round. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll come back over it with the fur as well to get that in. And I'm just seeing if there's black anywhere else on the painting. There's not necessarily, but I'm going to put some down because I can. There we go. Just put a little bit there. There we go. I'm not going to put too much in because it can be a really overpowering colour. Now there's a little bit of bluey grey, so we're going to get some blue and a little bit of black here. Let's get some white to see if it comes out as a nice, yeah, perfect. A little bit more blue, I think. A bit more white. Okay, that's the colour we want for down here. That's okay. And then we'll feed some of that through here. I'm going to come in with the white as well, so it won't look too strange. Right, keep mixing that in through the eye part that comes up around here. And we need to make sure we're trying to get rid of some of that white canvas now. We don't want any white canvas left. And then I'm just going to blend this in over there a little bit, and then we'll come back in with the blue and go over that some more. Running out of our blue now, aren't we? Oop, not too much white. Just keep adding the white until you get to the shade you want. It's quite a baby blue in that middle, isn't it? So we do need quite a bit of white to get it to there. But we need quite a bit of it because we really want to make sure we're getting that blue standing out now. So it kind of mixes in here. I want to kind of be going over everything, like even that black there with it, just to make it look like it's the feathers coming out. So now you can see the difference between the slightly, it's not quite as baby blue, it's slightly darker now, but it's nice to have the contrast. We can see both. So it's like it's got those different blues there. And let's get them poking out of the eye a little bit. We want to be filling in right over to the end now. Let's get some more paint on my brush. Yes, he's starting to come together a bit now. A nice messy abstract owl. That's what we want. We don't want it to be all tidy and neat and realistic. This is just lots of fun, making colours and creating something unique that's yours. Okay, I'm going to come around with a bit of white. I'm going to put it straight on my brush and up around here. This is all kind of white, blue feathers. What would you call it for a bird? Feathers, I suppose. Okay, I'm just going to dry it now, just so I know everything I've got is dry. That's mostly dry. I just wanted to point out as well, there are quite a lot of bits where it is just white. We're not going to do anything that's just white until the end. So I just want to get the basic colours down, and then we'll fill in the highlights at the end. Right, over here on top of these purpley colours, we've got this amazing kind of orange flow of feathers. So we've got the ones that are kind of coming around the other side here, mix of orange and yellow gorgeousness, and we can add, once it's dried, we can add more of that, the other colors in. Get some, if we add some white to that orange, it becomes like more peachy. That makes any sense. Or I've got some green on my brush somehow. I think I've put the blue in the yellow. It's all right. So this is abstract, so it's all good. It's quite nice to have all those mixed in. So orangey yellows coming all the way through here now, which is gonna really make it gorgeous and lovely. Come off the canvas. You know, the picture is meant to come off the canvas. It's meant to do that. So it's all good. And as you can see now, I'm not actually looking directly at the picture. Oh, it keeps flicking. I'm ever so sorry. I have no idea why it's doing that. Every now and again, I find that my technology likes to just give me a bit of a headache. So yeah, we're having a headache moment. Try not to muddy your colours too much. We want to mix them in, but we don't want to muddy them, so be careful. I'm just going to try and do some orange and yellow. We'll dry it again, and then we can always add some more purples and pinks afterwards. But you know, we might find we like it as it is. It's yours, you know. That's what I'm trying to say. It's your picture, and leave some of those big painty strokes in there. Don't worry. If you've got some big lumps of paint, you know, just push it about a bit and have fun. I'm going to come in down here now because there are some yellow marks on here. So we need to just add some of them in as well. Excuse me. Oh, it's just a message. Sorry about that. I have to have my phone on because I have children and I am a single parent, so they need me, they need to call me. So we're going to come down here as well and add some of this fiery orange in down here. Yeah, nice. Maybe some orange. Some orangey orange. Yeah, that's good. And then here, just blob some little bits on. I realise that we haven't actually used any other brushes, and that's okay. Use the point of the brush on the other end. You've got a whole set there to be playing with. I mean, you can change over and use some of the other brushes if you feel like you want to. That's absolutely fine. Just gonna make sure we can see that coming down there a little bit. Quite fiery. I'm going to get some of that white and mix it in with the yellow. Clean my brush actually, because I'm not getting that pure yellow. I just want some yellow with just some white to make it more of a kind of bright yellow. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Because we're putting it on, there you go, because we're putting it on purple, we're losing some of the vibrancy of the colour, that's all. So by adding white, you're giving it back a little bit. Right, so we haven't done all of that yet, but we can just come and get that ready there. There's some yellow there. I think it'd be nice just to put some wiggly marks in there. I don't think we've come high enough here with our orange, so let's get that in to show that that is the other side. Oh, I'm gonna dry it now. No, actually, just realised I need to go over the blue again, because in a minute we need to put some yellow back into that blue. Okay, so we need to make sure all the blue is actually in place, how we want it. We will be coming in and doing white on the outside edges anyway. Oh, I hope this is going to turn out okay. This is the thing, you know, either I only know as much as you at this rate, because as I said, I do them as I go along. Sometimes they go great, sometimes not so great. But I think it's starting to look like a funny, funky coloured owl, and that's what we were aiming for, so it's all good. I'm going to get the round brush that you've got in your pack, and then it's the number 2. Call that the round brush. It's got the round point to it, because we're going to be putting in some of these yellow colours. Now I am going to add a bit of white to the yellow again, because I want it to stand out, and we're just dotting it on top of the blue. Okay, we're almost making it seem as though the yellow there is coming through and then dotting the blue, so that it's got that layer. Dotting the yellow rather. Some little bits up here. It's almost like it's just peeking through the blue. A little bit there, and we've got some other bits up here too. Basically just have some splashy fun and just put it where you want it. I'm going to get the orange, and the orange is dotted throughout the black bit, which we're seeing less and less of. Don't think I did it wide enough, so you can always do it wider if you want. Learn from me. I'm going over into the blue, so why not? We don't have to because it's not on there, but I feel like I want to, so I am. Right, and then we can blob on some of this orange on top of here as well, and kind of blend that through. That's good. Maybe just some little orangey blobs here as well. I'm really just making it up now and making it my own, so I'm following the guideline of the image, but really I'm just putting colour where I want it. Now the orange didn't show up again, so we have that problem that I said before of the vibrancy going. Well, it's going translucent on that dark background, so we really want to kind of add some of the white to the colour, and it just brings the orange back to life again. There we go. That's better. Okay, happy with that. Anywhere else I need to think about putting it? Yeah, so there is like yellow going all the way around here, but what I'm going to do is the orange first, just to kind of get that darker colour in. Then I'm going to come in with the yellow on top. So we might use this yellow. There we are. Well, this has been lots of fun, I must say. Kind of coming close to finishing. We're definitely not there yet, but we're close. We need to put some thicker layers of paint down, and I'm going back to the thicker brush now, and I'm going to come straight into my magenta because we need to go over that and really bring that colour back out again, because magenta is a lovely, strong, vibrant colour. So we want to make sure that's showing. Yep. And we'll go into the blue with a tiny bit of white now. This blue up here, still want it strong, but just a little bit of white. Might just bring it also to life a bit. We're just making sure we're filling in the white canvas underneath. There we go. Now I'm looking at it and I can see I haven't got enough purple in that top bit. So I'm going to come in and make some more purple, which means I need some more cyan blue. Squeeze out. So we need some blue. We need some more of the red. Oh no, I've used the wrong red, haven't I? Because look, it comes out as a dark red. I meant to say that earlier. Keep doing that. We need the magenta red. You know, when I'm tired, that happens when I'm tired. I use the wrong red. It's got to be this blue, cyan blue, with the magenta. Okay, and that's what makes a nice purple. You get more of a deep red purple when you mix in scarlet red. We needed the magenta because it needs to be more of a pinky purple. I'm just going to leave that there like that. I did not mean to put all that on there. See, this is it. This is the end, coming towards the end of the tutorial, and everything starts falling apart because I get tired from all the talking as well as the thinking at the same time. I have fibromyalgia, so yeah, sometimes it's a bit much for me. Right, although I am really enjoying it. It doesn't mean it doesn't tire me though. Right, so there's some more purple coming through, which is great. Really need those in. What you need to do is step back from your picture, look at the original and think, right, where are there some bits missing? What haven't I done? Yeah, so do that. Okay, and that will really help to kind of bring it all together. Definitely more purple here and a bit more of the magenta. Let's just splodge it in now and get some really nice big lumps of paint. There we go. It's very purpley down that section. And then got some other bits kind of coming in here. Just looking to think, is that it? I think so. Right, my brush. I'm going to come into the orange and yellow, and now I'm just going to go over some of those top bits because I just want to make sure we've got nice points at the end where we're leaving the white. I'm probably not going to do the background, the same background. Should have said that at the beginning. I'm not too bothered about having a background. I'm just going to do some splashes in the background. Yeah, we really need to kind of just get some nice points in like that and really make sure that looks like it's flicking round like that. Yeah, there we go. And then coming up here, we need the yellow to look yellow coming from that direction. Fine. Bit of purple to fill in the bits I've done. Because really now we're coming to the final layers. We need to make sure there's no white canvas. We've filled in all those sections and we can't see the canvas underneath. You see that was quite a dark purple I added then as well, which would be quite good actually for in here. So I'm going to get some of that and just where this shadow is that I did at the beginning, just going to add some more of that in because it is quite dark under there. Can you see that's really helped to make it look more like a shadow? I love that. That's a really good effect. Okay, so we need to come around here actually with a really light blue and then we'll go over it with white, but we need to have some kind of colour down first just to make sure the white will show out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come around like that and here as well and just kind of fill that space there with that blue. And the same here, we don't really need that to be quite that dark there. And we're going to make this look a bit more like fur now by making smaller marks and lighter marks on the beak. We'll come in with white eventually, but I just want to get these light marks in again over the darker ones because that's what kind of creating the character of the face now. And we're going to have to do some of the flickers here in that light blue as well, otherwise it won't look like there's anything there because we're not doing that background. So we've just got to kind of give a bit of shadow, might even make it a bit darker. And because it's abstract, it's fine, we can get away with that. So just making some shapes there ready for when we come in with the white, which we'll do on both sides in a minute, and then it'll really, you'll see it, you'll see the difference. It'll be really punchy. Right, so I'm coming in with some blue bits here as well. And up here, just to show some lighter colour up here. I'm going to, so yeah, so this needs to swing around here, just still making sure I've got it, all the colours down where I want them. So I'm just looking at the picture, have I got the colours where I want them before I put the white down. This is really important, is that we need to get everything else right. The white is the last thing we're going to do. Highlights is always the last thing that we're going to do when working with acrylics. We work from dark to light, usually. And there's no strict rules with art. I always say that to everyone. No strict rules. But, you know, there are some things that you need to think about that help to bring your pictures alive a little bit. So I feel the bottom bit needs a little bit of focus. We've not really spent a lot of time on that because I've been focusing on mainly getting that right. But that beak needs some blue in it. see. No, I need some white in that blue. I need it to be darker. It needs to have, it's almost like a bit of a highlight there, and then there's some on the top as well. Yeah, that's nice. And then where these are coming round, I'm going to put that down as well, because if you can see around the white, it's got some darker bits there. That looks really nice. Yeah, bring some of that blue in there. Lovely. As you can see, as I say, this is a tutorial, but I'm doing it as I go along, so you can see the process and know that you're not wrong. Everything you're doing is right, and to keep, you know, it's all about learning and having fun. Yeah, that's a nice colour. So we're going to add some of that blue down here as well. Maybe add some little darker bits as well. Just creating shapes and patterns now with the same colours, because we don't want to add too many colours. Just to emphasise that shape there, and under here we're going to use that really dark purple, okay, to fill in that space. This dark purple we made before with the actual scarlet red. Such a like deep scarlet red colour, it's great. Scarlet red colour, a deep purple colour, almost like a bluey, more on the blue side. I just have to mix a little bit more to make it a little bit more, that's it, that's more purpley there. Some of it was a bit on the blue side, too much. So we've gone right to the edge of the canvas here because it's the rest of the bird's body, so we kind of have to there, but I don't really want to do it anywhere else. So now you can see I'm just coming round, I'm putting some of the darks in to create the deeper shapes, and I'm being really loose about it. I'm holding my brush at the end. As long as we get that feel for the owl, which we are now, it's all good. And you can see on the top image that the darker purple has been added towards the end on the outside edges, so we're only doing what we're seeing, and actually it works to help bring it alive. So sometimes coming in at the end with your darkest value when you've put kind of mid-range colours down also helps to make it pop and bring it to life. Okay, yeah, we're loving that, it's looking fab. So we also down here though, we don't want to completely leave it dark, or I don't, so I'm just going to put a bit more pink in. You can't really see it because it's still dark, but I've just pinkied up that purple a little bit. I just thought, oh, feels a bit dark. Maybe what we can do now is get some of that magenta. There's not blue in that brush. Hang on. Get some more magenta. I do like my magenta, as you can tell. It's everywhere. Right, with some white though this time, so we'll just mix that in the middle. There's a little space there just to lighten it up, and we're just going to come in and kind of put smudges in places like that because it's fun and because why not. Okay, I'm going to put some more there as well because that's quite close to that one. That's all pink. I'm not sure I want to do it, leave it like that because it's really pink. That's better. That's created that shape there as well. Let's get some more of that light pink and add that to this one, because you kind of want it all to make sense. You want them all joining together. As you can see now, I'm just being really simple with my strokes and just adding them where I want them. I need to make some more of that lighter pink up. I've got a habit of cross mixing my colours, which I've got to be careful about. I want that nice pink, but that purple's nearby and I keep hitting it. Okay, so here we've definitely got like quite a bit more pink on that one. So let's introduce pink again. We lost the pink through all of that orange and yellow, so let's put it back in. and then it will kind of cohesively bring it together a bit better. Go for it now with like just fun strokes, because we can. Just remember to keep standing back and looking at what you're doing. As well, just, yeah, just have fun. Just have fun. Right. I do want to come back on the eye a little bit again, because I can still see some of the pencil marks. I'm just going to come in with slightly lighter yellow and just try and get rid of where I can see the pencil mark. There you go. Perfect. So now I'm just looking around again, still thinking, where do I need to add colour? And I just want some more of this yellow here, little bit of yellow here, to cohesively bring it all together. Whatever colours you've got here, it helps if you bring them down into other sections of your picture, yeah, and it really helps. It doesn't need to be a lot, just like a little there. Okay, this reminds me kind of folk art. It's a very traditional way of painting and very bold kind of colours. That's what it's reminding me of. You know, where you get like the one stroke painting. If you've ever seen it, look up one stroke. It's really interesting to see, and it's all really bold marks that they use. I think I just want to change, although it's not the same as on there, I just wanted to bring some more of that in, a bit of yellow as well, so that I just felt like it needed to come all round. I don't know if you know what I mean. Right, I'm gonna put some, I know it's gonna sound weird, but I'm gonna put some of this dark down here. See that? Because when we layer in the feathers that are poking out here, I mean, I've put some of the light blue down, but I think we need the dark bit there. We need to really be able to see that there was dark here, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to put some light here as well, just to kind of show that that's the feathers coming round and down. I'm going to dry it now, so when I put the white on, it'll be the finishing touches. So we'll come to the end now. I hope you've been enjoying it. I certainly have. It's mostly dry. Where I've laid the paint down really thick, it's not going to be very dry. I'm going to just squeeze a little bit out where we've got white. It's a bit contaminated, the white we've got, so with other colours. So I need another blob, another fresh blob, so that we can do some really great white areas. Right, I'm going to the round brush that we had before, because we are going to come in and do that white. So you can see how lovely and bright and white that is. And then we're going to do a little dot there. That's to emphasize a little dot on the eye, on the pupil. Then we're going to come in and just have some fun putting some white blobs down. And this will help just to freshen it up. We've got lots around that blue, haven't we? So keep putting the white on so it's nice and bright and white. Okay. just pull it down like that. That's it. You can see I'm just dragging it down and I'm mark making basically. That's all I'm doing at the moment, just mark making there. There are some white bits up here as well, which I'm going to pop in all the way up until up here. I want to go over that again because you can't see it. The trouble with putting white on darker colours, you've got to make sure you've got a good blob of it so that it really shows up as white. And there's some little wibbly bits in this bit here as well. Do you know I'm going to just put like a white bit there on the beak. That helps to bring that to life. Now down here there really is lots of white squiggles, and it might be that we have to layer it because we want to get lots of white in. Here, down here especially, because this is where all the feathers kind of come out, and just do it how it makes sense to you. I mean, this bit here is quite dark, but that's why I'm going to just kind of thread the fur down like that. I want to keep some of those dark markings in because it shows a little bit difference in value with those feathers there. So we're just showing how that bit under the beak is like a little bit whiter. We can just keep going with that so that it comes down to like a nice point. I'm kind of imagining that's how the feathers would be. Does that make sense? Right, so I'm just gonna make sure my brush is full, and we're just gonna do some of these sweeping marks here. Might be better if I went to the angle brush again, but for now I'm happy enough with this. It's fine. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, does it? Okay, so that's again just because we've got the dark, we've put the dark underneath. It looks more real, like there's a mixture of coloured feathers in there. Now we're really going to go for it here with white. There's literally loads of white here, so we want to just come in and get loads in there. And we want to have, I'm going to go for the angle brush for this bit because I don't want to ruin all the good work we've done. And that will give us some nice points and really give us that nice kind of angle coming around. And I think, as I said, it shows how the white, when you come to do the white at the end, it really does bring everything together. And then we're going to dot some white along here, and that kind of brings that through as well. Yeah. Some little bits of white along here just because I want to. There aren't really any there, but I would just like to. Same here. Get a few more bits of white in the top. I think it's nice because that's where the light would be. That's where I'm imagining it because it seems to be lighter up here, and then lower down it's getting darker, isn't it? So just put some flowing through. I think that looks cool. All right, bit there. Don't ruin it, Tash, just because you're having so much fun. I always do that. Ruin it because I'm having so much fun. Right, let's get some yellow. What I want to do is deepen the points on those feathers with the yellow that I've got. That's great. And then get some of the orange and just deepen those points. We want to make sure the points have got no white and the nice sharp points to show the end of the feathers, if that makes any sense. And just fill in any colour, anywhere where you can see colour, where it's looking like you can see some canvas. We don't want that. Yeah. And that's it really. We're pretty much there. And you can keep adding colour and changing things as much as you want to. But I think we've got it as close as we can to what's on there. Just think I might just pop some more bright purple on. I just think, I say purple, but it's the magenta red. Especially here. I just think we've lost a bit of the vibrancy there. So we want to keep, maybe add a little bit of white while it's wet. Yeah. there's a really light lilac on there, I've just realised, which I didn't mix. So let's just try that. Let's just get a little bit and kind of mix it here, because I'm running out of space, but there's no point now making a new. Ah, there we go. Oh yes, I like that. There we go. That's what it was missing, because I was trying to compare it to up there and I was like, something's missing, something's not right, and it was that lilac colour. And I'm not doing it exactly as you can see on there. You can see that I'm just not, but I'm using it as a rough guide. I think it just helps to have it as a rough guide. I think I've been a bit more all over the place with the colour, but that's fine. It's, you know, it's your picture. Now, for around the edges, you can leave it completely white like that, or you could do like little splatters. So let's do, I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to do some pink splatters. So we really need to get a bit of the pink proper watered down. Can you see that? Almost like it's watercolour. And then off screen here, I'll get a bit of paper. I can just get my hand on a piece of paper. And I will test out if it's splattering enough. Because if I try to splatter with it and the piece, yes, perfect. Say the paint's too big. Well, we're in the picture with big blobs. We don't want big blobs, but we don't want them too small either. Let's try a bigger brush, so we can get a few, because you can't even really see that, can you? Let's get, I have got over here a very big brush, so you won't have this. You'll just have to maybe paint in some bigger blobs, if that makes any sense. Oh, I don't know, they're still coming away quite, oh yeah. I don't know if you can see that even on the screen. Yeah, you can now, can't you? I love a splatter when I finished a painting, especially when it's like this. It's really bright and colourful. Should we do some blue ones? Because I think blue's a nice colour to do as well. Let's really water that up. Make it watercoloury. I'll just check. Yep. Maybe a bit darker. It's too light. We want to be able to see it. It wants to be punchy. And then maybe we could do some of that purple. That's better. That's much darker. Great. I'm going to come and do some splatters everywhere, actually, because I think that'll look nice. Some splatters up here. We'll fill that background in with splatters instead of the paint that was there, because I like to do splatters. Simple. If you like doing it, do it. If you don't like doing it, don't do it. Life's too short to do things you don't want to do, and too short not to do the things you do want to do. Now, it wasn't that philosophical. Right. Need to get a bit more water on there. And yeah, do a few more around those edges. Perfect. I'm going to call it done, I think, because I could play around with it forever. And you'll probably find this as you're enjoying it, and it will be difficult to stop. So we'll call it done before I ruin it. Hope you enjoyed that. So please do subscribe to the channel if you could. Please go to my website, subscribe at the bottom of the page on my website for newsletters. You get updated with my new tutorials, my painting kits to go along if you're in the UK. If not, there will be instructions below on what paints I used and things like that. It's 12 by 12 inch canvas. You can just use any angle brush you've got, any round brush you've got, it doesn't really matter as long as you get the right effect. And that's that. So thank you so much. Please do comment below anything you'd like to say, if you enjoyed it, if you didn't. Anything, I don't mind. Just want to hear from you. It'd be great. All right, take care everyone. Bye.